Have you ever had a door slammed in your face only to realize it was the best thing that could have happened? Today we're going to talk about how to turn the tables on rejection, a concept suggested by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. Imagine living in a world where every no doesn't hold you back but instead helps you move forward. Rejection, a word that often hurts, can become your stepping stone to greatness. It's not about tricking people. Bell. That tells YouTube that you like what we're sharing. Now let's start this life-changing journey together, ready to turn your biggest setbacks into your biggest wins. Number 1, ignore them too. It's not petty to ignore people who don't care about you. In fact, it's a powerful statement of your self-worth. Imagine this. Someone decides you're not worth their time. That's their loss, not yours. By choosing not to engage, you're saying, I am worth more. It's like silently reflecting their behavior and showing them you're not affected by it. Now, how do you do this without losing your cool? Simple. Think about your life, your goals, and your happiness. Do things that make you happy, like reading, sports, learning a new skill, or just spending time with people who care about you. It hurts when someone ignores us, but instead of dwelling on that pain, use it as a fuel for growth. This isn't about getting back at them. It's about taking back your energy and putting it where it counts. You should build a wall of self-respect and let their lack of interest bounce off of it. You're not just getting through their rejection, you're living in spite of it. This behavior not only shows that you're emotionally mature, but also that you're mentally strong. Remember that your worth doesn't go down just because someone can't see it. Stay true to who you are, and let your deeds speak louder than theirs silence. Number 2. Don't react emotionally. Being turned down can hurt and make you want to act out or let your feelings run wild, but here's a secret weapon from the Stoic playbook for staying calm. When someone brushes you off, it's easy to let anger or sadness take over. Stoicism, a theory that is just as important now as it was in ancient Greece, offers a different way to deal with things. It encourages people to respond calmly and carefully. This isn't about hiding your feelings, it's about not letting them take over when someone ignores you. Instead of getting angry or looking for approval, don't let them. Step back and ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? Often it's not the rejection itself that hurts us, but our own fears. This is where we need to be realistic. You're being ignored. Take a deep breath. Think about why this moment doesn't define you. It's just a moment. Stoicism tells us to think about our own actions and reactions instead of other people's. Behave so be nice and kind. If you want to reach out, do so with genuine care instead of expectation. This method isn't about being passive, it's about taking control of your feelings and realizing that your worth doesn't depend on other people's praise. Your power lies in how you react, not how they treat you, and that's a game changer. It's not easy to adopt this mindset, but it's life-changing. When you learn to stay calm in the face of rejection, you're not just getting through a tough situation, you're also growing and learning that your inner peace doesn't depend on outside approval. It's a journey to self-confidence where you learn to value yourself on your own. When you do this, you show real strength and resilience, and guess what? That's incredibly cool. People who are confident and don't break down at the first sign of indifference are more likely to be attractive. So, by staying calm, you're not just coping, you're thriving. You're becoming someone who can handle rejection and use it as a chance to grow as a person. That's the Stoic way. Number 3, remove them from your mind. Mastering the art of detachment is a strong skill to have when you've been rejected. This doesn't mean forgetting or acting like the rejection didn't hurt. It means turning that experience into something positive. Start by recognizing the rejection and feeling its effects, but don't let it hold you back. Like a skilled sailor in rough seas, use the waves to move forward instead of flipping your boat over. To change how you feel about rejection, you need to change your view. Not as a problem to be solved, but as a signpost leading you to new opportunities and paths. Take part in activities that make you feel better and help you see new things. Read a book that makes you think. Join a sport that pushes you or help out with a community project that will give you a new view. These are not just things that will take your attention away. They are steps toward growth and self-discovery. Each new event shapes you in a way that makes you stronger and more flexible. Also, build a group of good vibes. Spend time with people who make you feel good and inspire you. Share your goals and listen to theirs. This will create a setting where both of you can grow. Remember that rejection doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you need to rediscover and reinvent yourself. As you go through this journey, you'll realize that what seemed like a painful rejection was actually a push toward a more satisfying path. Number 4. Demonstrate your value. Rejection hurts, but it's also a test of how strong you are. Instead of giving up, see it as a chance to show how tough you are. The next time you get stepped on in a meeting or passed over for a job, take a deep breath and don't let your feelings of self-pity or anger get the best of you. Put that energy into doing something good. If you work on a project that shows off your skills or offer to lead a new effort, your value won't go down because someone else is watching. Instead, it's a chance to shine brighter without being scared of being fired. Remember the saying, "When one door closes, another opens"? That's not just idle talk, it's a plan for action. Rejection doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're being directed to a role where you're more needed. If you're turned down for a role, it could be the world pushing you towards something that fits your skills and interests better. Use this as a reason to look again and get back on track. What are your main strengths? How can you change things to make the most of them? It's about writing your own success story so that every failure leads to a big comeback. This isn't about putting a smile on a sad face. It has to do with accepting all of your feelings and then going on. Thank you. Stoicism teaches us to think about the things we can change, like our actions and feelings when we are rejected. When you are rejected, show empathy for both yourself and others. That coworker who forgot about you might be dealing with their own fears. Understand others not as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of power. Learn from these events, grow from them, and then rise again like a phoenix. Rise from the ashes of rejection stronger and smarter than you were before. Rejection isn't the end of your story. It's a plot twist that forces you to become the most authentic and resilient version of yourself. Face it head-on with the wisdom of the ages and the vitality of youth, and watch as it changes from your biggest fear to your greatest ally in personal growth and success. Number 5. Cut off contact. Silence isn't just the lack of sound. It's also a strong emotional tool, especially when you're dealing with rejection. For example, if you've been ignored or turned down, your first instinct might be to try to fix the problem by reaching out to close the gap. But here's where you change the script. Accept silence. It's not about playing games, it's about getting your power back when you decide not to respond or call or text. You're pausing, but it's not just for them. It's also for you to remember that your worth isn't based on other people's acceptance. Let's look into it more. This silence isn't passive, it's active and planned. You're not just waiting, you're thinking and growing. It's a chance to refocus on your life, your goals, and your interests. Think of it as a reset button that gives you strength and clarity. This time of not talking to them isn't mean or cold. It's a limit you set for your own mental peace. It says, "I respect myself too much to chase or beg." This attitude isn't just tough, it's empowering. It says a lot about your confidence and sense of self-worth. Finally, think about the message you're sending by being quiet. In a world where people expect instant answers, your silence can be interesting or even attractive. It shows that you're not easily swayed and that you have a lot of things that are important to you. Beyond this rejection, it's not about making them feel bad or making them come back crawling. It's about showing that you're strong-willed and not easily moved by outside approval. This method won't guarantee that they'll change how they act, but it will guarantee that you will. This will make you stronger, more focused, and ready to handle whatever comes next with grace and poise. Number 6, prove them wrong. It's not just about proving others wrong, it's also about showing yourself what you're really capable of. The art of rejection is turning no into fuel for growth. For example, if someone doubts your abilities in a certain skill or task, here's your chance to improve that skill, not for their approval, but to go beyond your own limits. Dive deep into learning, practice nonstop, and show up with a level of skill that even you didn't know you had. This isn't about making a big show for people who doubt you. It's about quietly building a fortress of skill and confidence. Now think about how your actions, not your words, will affect others. Do not talk about your plans or work. Let the results speak for themselves. If people think you are not creative, start a project that shows off your creativity. If people think you are not committed, be consistent in what you do. This quiet revolution of self-improvement isn't a fight against other people's opinions. It's a quest for personal excellence. And when you change your story, the world's story about you changes too. The best way to prove them wrong isn't by changing their minds, but by changing how you see yourself. Your road to self-improvement will not only surprise others, but it will also change the way you think about what you can do. Not only are you trying to show them they're wrong, but you're also trying to change what right means to you. Victory is realizing that the only approval that really counts is the one you give yourself. Number 7. Go out and have fun. Life is real. We give off the most essence when we leave our comfort zones. Holding on joy isn't just about having fun, it's also a way to build resilience. When you're rejected, your natural reaction is to pull away and stew in the bitterness of the situation. But here's a twist. Actively seeking joy is the opposite of that. It's not about ignoring your feelings, it's about giving them a new place to play, whether it's a new hobby or revisiting an old passion. The act itself becomes a statement of defiance against the weight of people, our social animals, and sharing stories can help you a lot on your path to overcoming rejection. Don't forget how important your group is. Get together with friends for a hike, a group art project, or just a meal. These moments of connection do more than just make you feel better. They also remind you of your place in the web of human contact. As you laugh and tell stories, a gentle warning that you are more than the sum of your problems. You are a part of a bigger story that lives on connection and shared strength. The real magic takes place here. Take a step into the unknown. It can feel like a door has been closed when you're rejected, but an open door really does. Try a type of food you've never tried, check out a neighborhood you haven't been to before, or go to a class on a subject you don't know much about. These aren't just fun things to do, they're chances to grow. Every new experience gives you more depth as a person, making you more flexible, understanding, and ready to handle life's surprises. Remember that the goal isn't to forget about being turned down, but to learn from it and use every experience as a way to make your life fuller and more interesting. Number 8. Build your social status. If you're 8 years old, raise your social status. In a room that no one goes into and is almost invisible, there is a secret chance for you. Stoicism tells us that when we are rejected, we should use that as a chance to grow as people instead of looking for approval. Focus on improving yourself and getting involved in your community. It's not about moving up the social ladder, it's about moving up the ladder of your own personal growth. Hobbies, working on your fitness, and moving up in your job aren't just chores. They're ways to make yourself stronger and more resilient. Think about sharing your journey, not for praise, but for connection. When you talk about your hobbies or accomplishments, use them to connect with people who can relate to your story. This isn't a plan to get followers, it's a genuine effort to find souls who share my values. By volunteering or networking, you're not just adding to your resume, you're building a web of important relationships. This way of thinking comes from the Stoic philosophy, which says that helping others and growing as a person go hand in hand with making friends. The goal is paramount. It's not a hunt for fame, it's a trip to become a better person. Every action you take should be a step toward improvement that makes the community better as a whole. This shift in viewpoint is very important. You don't need to be seen to grow. You need to see yourself grow and help others grow. This Stoic attitude is very helpful in today's world, as it can turn the wave of rejection into a strong wave of positive change. Number 9. Act as if they doesn't exist. When someone ignores you, sometimes the best thing to do is to be quiet. It's not about being rude or cold. It's about respecting your own space. If someone chooses to ignore you, you should let them. Don't waste time trying to catch their attention or start a conversation. Instead, turn your attention to someone who wants to be with you. At a party, this might mean going to someone who wants to be with you. Start a talk there. It's about realizing that someone else's approval of you doesn't determine your worth at the points where you have to deal with that person. Keep your professionalism. It's not about showing them up, it's about showing up for yourself. Keep talks short, to the point, and free of personal details. By keeping it business-related, you don't leave room for drama that doesn't need to happen. It means you're here for what's important, not just for the play. This way of thinking helps you stay focused on what's important, keeping you grounded and unshaken by indifference. If the disregard continues, embrace the power of walking away. This isn't defeat, it's a strategic retreat. It's about realizing that your energy is better spent on relationships and pursuits that bring you joy and growth. By choosing not to get involved in a one-sided struggle, you're better relationships and a calmer mind. How you react to indifference isn't a sign of failure. It shows how strong and proud you are of yourself. In life, we often encounter situations or individuals who provoke negative emotions or stress. However, mastering the art of indifference can offer a powerful coping mechanism. Acting as if certain people or circumstances don't exist doesn't imply denial or avoidance, but rather a deliberate choice to focus our energy elsewhere. This lesson explores the concept of indifference and provides practical strategies for implementing it in daily life. Understanding. Indifference. Definition. Indifference is the state of being unconcerned or uninterested in someone or something. Importance. Indifference allows us to maintain emotional equilibrium, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and preserve our mental well-being. Clarification. Indifference doesn't equate to apathy or disregard for others' feelings. It's about prioritizing our peace of mind without actively harming others. Practical strategies. Mindful awareness. Recognize triggers. Identify people or situations that typically evoke negative emotions. Practice mindfulness. Cultivate awareness of your thoughts and emotions without getting entangled in them. Pause and reflect. Before reacting, take a moment to assess whether a response is necessary or if it's better to remain indifferent. Redirecting focus. Shift attention. Direct your focus towards activities, interests, or relationships that bring fulfillment and joy. Set boundaries. Establish clear boundaries with individuals who consistently disturb your peace, limiting their influence on your life. Invest in personal growth. Channel your energy into self-improvement endeavors, such as learning new skills or pursuing meaningful goals. Cultivating inner peace. Practice self-care. Engage in activities that promote relaxation and rejuvenation, such as meditation, exercise, or spending time in nature. Letting go of control. Accept that not everything is within your power to change, and release the burden of trying to control external circumstances. Gratitude practice. Foster a mindset of gratitude by acknowledging the positive aspects of your life, even amidst challenges. Empathy without absorption. Maintain perspective. Recognize that everyone has their own struggles and motivations, which may influence their behavior. Empathize from a distance. Extend compassion towards others without allowing their issues to become your own. Practice selective empathy. Choose where to invest your emotional energy, focusing on those who reciprocate care and support. Conclusion: mastering the art of indifference is not about cold detachment, but rather about preserving our mental and emotional well-being in the face of adversity. By cultivating mindfulness, redirecting our focus, nurturing inner peace, and practicing selective empathy, we can navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and serenity. Remember, acting as if certain individuals or circumstances don't exist empowers us to reclaim control over our thoughts, emotions, and actions, fostering a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. Number 10. Give them the silent treatment. If someone doesn't care about you, choosing quiet isn't about getting the upper hand, it's about keeping your pride. Stoicism teaches us to use silence not to anger or control others, but as a way to think about ourselves and take control of our emotions. So the next time someone ignores you and you respond with silence, let that time be a time to think about your feelings, sort through your thoughts, and find clarity. This isn't about hurting the other person. It's about keeping your own peace. In this silence, you have a huge chance to grow as a person. It's not about shutting down. It's about letting yourself be seen. Stoicism says that we should use these times to think about our virtues, our beliefs, and how we want to interact with the world. It's a chance to ask ourselves, why does this bother me? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? This kind of silence is helpful, not harmful. It's a chance to strengthen your character and make sure that your actions are in line with your values. So if you decide to stay silent, make it a choice based on self-care and wisdom. It's a choice to avoid actions that are beneath you, like manipulation, revenge, or pettiness. Instead, it's an acceptance of what's happening. Stoicism encourages moderation and self-control. When you don't react, you're not just ignoring the other person, you're also paying close attention to yourself. It's a practice in staying calm, keeping your eye on your own path and living up to the stern ideal of serenity when things go wrong. Number 11. Don't beg for attention. In spite of lack of care, if you want to be reserved, you shouldn't beg for attention. Instead, you should be sure of your own worth and independence. When someone doesn't pay attention to you, it's not a sign to work harder to get their attention. Instead, it's a chance to reflect on your own worth. Stoicism teaches us that our self-esteem shouldn't be like a pendulum that swings back and forth depending on how other people treat us. It's about being strong in your own self-respect and knowing that your worth isn't up for discussion. Follow your interests and hobbies with a heart full of independence. You're not showing off to make someone else realize what they're missing. You're realizing what you bring to the table by doing things that make you happy, connecting with people who appreciate you, and building a life that makes you proud. This isn't a passive act. It's an active embrace of your own life. It's about being so involved in your own growth and happiness that the need for outside approval starts to fade away. Spend money on yourself and make a life that you're happy with, no matter what other people think. Let your self-assurance and confidence grow as a result of your personal growth and accomplishments, not a show put on for people to watch. This Stoic way of life isn't just about dealing with rejection. It's about getting past it by focusing on your own road of growth and happiness. Instead of giving up, you use failure to get stronger and learn more about your own worth. Number 12. Be kind but emotionally distant. Even if someone doesn't care about you, choose to be kind and keep your emotional world strong. This isn't about being cold, it's about keeping your inner peace. When someone ignores you, it's normal to feel hurt or angry, but Stoicism teaches us to face these situations with a calm heart and a smile. Say hello or wish them a good day without any expectations. Your kindness is a gift, not a deal. It's not about building walls to keep mental distance. It's about drawing lines. Knowing that you can only control your actions and not how other people react is what distance is all about. It's not a sign of weakness, but of strength and self-respect. It's a choice to not let someone else's actions affect how you feel. By staying kind but distant, you're saying, I choose not to let your indifference throw off my balance. This method doesn't just keep you safe, it gives you power. This path of kindness combined with emotional detachment is a powerful example of Stoic wisdom. It's a balance that lets you connect with grace while staying true to your own emotional integrity. It shows that you respect yourself and others, and it shows how mature and smart you are. This way, when people turn you down, you don't react with anger or hurt, but with a steady sense of inner peace and pride. Being kind and caring to others is an important part of getting along with other people. But there are times when it's just as important for our own health to keep our mental distance. We will talk about the idea of being kind but emotionally distant, what it means, and how to find the right mix in this lesson. How to understand kindness and emotional distance. Explain what kindness is. Being kind means showing understanding, respect, and care for others. This is what emotional distance means. Keeping some emotional distance or limits to protect your own feelings. Talk about situations where you need to be kind and keep your space emotionally. For instance, when working with difficult people at work or when set personal boundaries need to be respected. Why emotional boundaries are important. Talk about how important emotional limits are. Setting emotional limits is important for keeping your mental health in good shape and avoiding emotional burnout. Think about what will happen if you don't set emotional boundaries. People may feel emotionally drained, angry, or even manipulated by others if they don't have limits. Give some examples of good emotional boundaries, like being aware of your emotional triggers, knowing when to say no, and knowing your own boundaries. Being kind while keeping emotional distance. Stress understanding without over-identification. Tell your students to see things from other people's points of view without letting their feelings get the best of them. Show people how to listen actively. Being supportive while keeping your mental distance can be achieved by listening carefully without getting involved in how someone else feels. Exercises with roles. Put students in situations where they can practice being kind while also setting emotional limits. As needed, give them comments and help. Self-care and time to think. Stress. The importance of self-care. Remind students that taking care of their own mental health is necessary in order to help others. Encourage people to think. Ask students to think about their own experiences with emotional space and kindness and to come up with ways they could do things better. Give people tools to learn more. Give suggestions for books, papers, or therapy that go into more detail about emotional intelligence and setting limits. Finding the right balance between being kind and keeping your emotions in check is a tricky skill that needs practice and self-awareness to master. People can have better relationships, take care of their own health, and be kind to others while also knowing how important emotional boundaries are and learning to stick to them. Number 13. Don't reveal your struggle. When someone doesn't pay attention to you, it can be hard not to show how hard things are for you. Stoicism teaches us how to keep our cool. It's not about acting like everything is fine. It's about being strong on the inside. It's not a trick to act like you're not affected. It shows how stable you really are inside. Keep living your life with the same vigor and drive as before. It's not a show for other people, but a testament to your own strength. This method isn't about hiding how you feel. You should be aware of them, but don't let them steer your ship. Instead, let confidence and calmness lead you. Your actions, reactions, and attitude are the things you can control. If you go on with your life with confidence, you're not only showing others how strong you are, you're also reminding yourself of it. It's a subtle but powerful way to say that your sense of self-worth is separate from other people's thoughts or actions, essentially by keeping your struggle hidden. You're adopting the Stoic way of dealing with your feelings. This isn't about hiding your feelings. It's about controlling them in a way that keeps your pride and honor. It's a sign of knowledge and honesty that you are rooted in your own character and not swayed by outside factors. Your reaction to being turned down is not only for everyone to see, it also shows how strong and stable you are. We've been on a trip through the ups and downs of reverse psychology together. Finding out 13 strong lessons on how to use rejection to your advantage and reach your goals. Remember that every problem you face is an opportunity to get stronger. A lesson in Stoicism that shows us how to use our inner strength. I dare you to use these ideas in your everyday life. Accept failure not as a setback but as a chance to learn more about yourself and grow. I can't wait to hear your triumph stories, so click that subscribe button, make the alert go off, ring the bell, and share your story in the comments below, all of your wins and even your problems. If you can't think of anything to say, just type strength in adversity to show that you made it through our session. Your participation in this community is what drives us to learn, understand, and most importantly, how to turn every challenge into an opportunity. Let's learn the art of Stoic resilience together. Thanks for watching.